Okay, so this video is for Clip Studio Paint. I just bought the Pro version. And to kind of break down at least how I've gone through it of what to do, we're going to start here and we're going to break down the process because I'm still learning. So I want to share with you in the process as well so you can learn to kind of jump right in because there is a slight learning curve when you first download it. It's not quite cut and dry. So let's get to it. Okay, so and when you first open it, it's kind of just blank. Sometimes from what I've experienced, it doesn't automatically give you the animation part. And I think that's interesting. So if you want to do animation, you do have to go in and pick your view or your workspace. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's see what it does here. Reset. So it does end up blank when you first open it. So let's see. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, we do animation. They do have a tab here for animation, curve. Let's see. So we got that there. Let's go ahead and just open up a new. Okay, so yep. So just open it up. Just hit new. Hit new, and then they've got these different. So you got illustration, you got webtoon, comic, print for what is that? Fanzine. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry though. All right. So gonna go ahead and start a new animation and we'll do just a practice run. Oh, it just automatically starts for you there. So, and it definitely did something interesting here too. Do I X out of that? Yep. So I X'd out of that left side one and we're gonna add our folders. So over here in this little section to the right, you'll see the stack of papers. That's your layers. Now we want to get our timeline showing. So we go to window, layer, and here we go. So once you go to window and you hit timeline, it pops that up. So me personally, I like to set up my workstation so that everything is the way that I like. I actually like to see a little bit more of the timeline at the bottom so that way I know where I'm at. So let's get to the next part here. Okay, so this is kind of wild because I don't see the shapes icon where we can make a shape. So, and if someone knows, please leave it in the comments and help us out here because I don't see it. We have the magnifying glasses all on the left hand side. Your move hand, your operations, you have your move layer. Now this one, icon, nope, that's not what we want. And pen, pencil, paintbrush, airbrush, decoration, eraser, blender. Oh, we got a blend mode, nice. And liquify. That's going to be something interesting to check out later. We have the paint fill, gradient. Now the line. Yeah, line just gives us just the line, which we'll be using that in a second. We got the ruler and frame border, text, balloon, and this looks like for vector imaging to correct the lines and straighten those out. So I'm most likely just going to go ahead and draw the tool or draw the circle and then use a tool to vectorize the sketch. But first, before I do that, I'm actually going to put a line, which will be our floor line, on the first layer, which it should be the background. So let's see how that turns out. Okay, so once I got to put in the line on, you don't put it on that first layer, the paper layer. that's the layer that is just, I'm assuming, because like I said, we're starting out here, that's the layer that is just for the color, the background of what you're working on. So then I had to create another layer to place our background on with our line. That way, once we get ready to put the circle on top, that's going to go on our sketch layer. This is another very important thing to implement as well when you're doing any kind of digital work. You want to name your layers. So I'm going to name this one the sketch layer so that once we begin to get more into the animation and the layers go, we'll have sketch, we'll have outline, we'll have render, and even maybe some lighting or light spots. Those type of layers want to be added in. So we're going to go ahead to the next step now that we have our sketch layer labeled, and we're going to draw our circle on this layer to separate from the ground. That way, if any edits need to be made, you can kind of switch back and forth. Okay, so here we're going to add our next frame, and we're going to click on where we want that frame to go. And the red line is going to move over to that spot. That's to indicate to us that it's showing us where the next keyframe is going to go. Sometimes not all of them are keyframes, but this one in this instant is going to be, these are keyframes that we're setting up first before we actually get into adding in any in-betweens or, figuring out timing. This is one of those spots that I was telling you about with Clip Studio Paint where you kind of have to know your way around. I did get a little lost here. So I created an animation cell layer and we just want to create an animation cell. So that's how both of those two sheets panels got next to each other. I had to click on that panel. But if you look, we've got all these different icons up at the top that you'll definitely be using to get your animation going. It's pretty handy. I like the way it's laid out. You just gotta learn which one is which. So we're definitely also going to be using onion skinning. So this is the onion skin button. We're going to use this to lay out our keyframes as well. And here are just a few of the other icons and buttons. This one's very handy where this one will go take you right to the front or take you to the start of your animation. You got the where you can kind of tab through your frames as well as play, and of course on the other end will take you to the end of the frame. These are the two that you'll be using as well, where you'll have a layer versus just the cell. For the most part, we'll be using the cell right now. This is another one of those parts where I kind of got lost. So I was able to duplicate the layer, and I double clicked it, but it kept trying to make me rename it. But what I'm learning, even using my stylus, there are some quirks to when you're the double tapping in the settings when you're on a tablet. It may be a little different being on the computer, but I did have to click and hold. So I clicked, double click it, hold. On the second click, I held it, and it was able to pop down that menu. Now, if you do double click it or one click it, there are other settings and menus that'll pop up that we can go through another time if need be as we go along. So here I'm just setting up again the keyframes. This one we're not going to actually go through any in-betweens and timing and things like that. We just want to show the ball moving across the scene because this one is mainly getting used to the interface of Clip Studio Paint. And I really like it so far. I think it's great. Great interface. It's really smooth. Kind of going from any of the other ones that are. This is an open source, so I'm sorry, it's not an open source. I did pay for this one. I know that there are other open source softwares, but this one is definitely worth the extra premium just because it's on a tablet. I'm not on the desktop right now. I'm still building my studio. But Clip Studio Paint actually is really nice. They said that you can do illustrations and comic book sketches, things like that, which I think that I'm going to stick with using this software for a little while and see what I can actually do with it. What can I get done with it? And that's where the fun is going to come in. So this first tutorial here is just going through basic icons, basic tools, workflow, things like that. And you'll create your own workflow as you go along too. This is just me starting out and kind of going through the basics for myself. And I feel like if I need the basics, I know other people will need the basics. So I hope you do like this, just to get yourself started with Clip Studio Paint. Like I said, so far I like it. And leave it in the comments too. Let me know what you guys think of Clip Studio Paint. If you have any, just words to give someone else that's starting out too, it'd be really great to hear from other people who have been using it for a little while. And here's another very important tip. So that blue line on the end, that one is a part of the loop. So when you bring it in, you leave it to where you want the animation to loop back and forth. You keep it between those brackets. The red one is your indicator. So you're going to need to know that when you have it on loop, so that you have it so it's not taking too long in between, or you're going to capture the whole animation. Sometimes you have a lot more uh, time to go on your count, but this just kind of limits it and keeps it contained for you. Okay, and as we see, just like the basic ball moving across, it's jumping. That's where the smoothness, the in-betweens, the timing, all of that would come into play with this part of the animation process. It's I mean, people do storyboards with stuff like this. Maybe two more in betweens in there to make it a bit more animatic style. I really enjoy just doing the basics right now, so this would be fun to see, just working in Clip Studio Paint and seeing what can come of it, just from starting from the basics and building up. Like I said, you guys like this, subscribe to see the growth of my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this. If you like this, please comment below and say, I'm here for it. I've enjoyed doing this with you, and I will see you guys next time.